There are moments in intimacy where passion becomes more than just touch. It turns into an experience that lingers, a memory that imprints itself deeply. It's not about the act itself, but the energy behind it, the confidence, the curiosity, and the intention to give pleasure in a way that feels unforgettable. When desire is combined with skill, the result isn't just satisfaction, it's an awakening of connection that rocks the soul. Confidence is the secret ingredient that transforms an ordinary experience into something unforgettable. It is not about being flawless or perfect. It is about owning the moment with a presence that radiates certainty. Confidence creates an atmosphere where hesitation disappears, where energy flows naturally, and where passion feels effortless. The truth is, technique can be learned, but confidence is felt. It is the unspoken language that communicates desire, assurance, and control all at once. And that is what makes everything so magnetic. When there is confidence, every movement carries purpose. There is no rush, no fumbling, no second guessing, just a steady flow that builds anticipation. Confidence sets the tone even before a touch happens. It's in the way eyes lock with intention, in the way breathing steadies, in the way the body language says, I know exactly what I'm doing. That calm yet powerful presence creates trust, and trust allows pleasure to expand without limits. Without confidence, the moment feels mechanical. With it, the same act becomes electric, alive, unforgettable. Confidence also changes how anticipation is handled. Instead of diving in too quickly, a confident person knows the power of taking time, teasing, building the desire second by second. Every pause, every lingering moment becomes a message I'm in control, and I know exactly when to give more. That controlled pace heightens sensitivity, making even the smallest touch feel amplified. Confidence allows the act to become not just about physical pleasure, but about mental and emotional arousal too. It isn't only about what is being done. It is about how it is being done. A confident presence can turn something simple into something extraordinary. The same movement that might feel ordinary with hesitation suddenly becomes breathtaking when done with certainty and intent. Confidence sends a signal that this is not just an act, it is an art form, and every action is designed to create impact. That energy doesn't just stay in the moment. It leaves a lasting imprint, one that lingers long after the experience is over. Another powerful aspect of confidence is adaptability. Instead of worrying about what might go wrong, a confident presence focuses on what feels right. Every reaction becomes a guide, and instead of panicking or freezing, there is an ability to shift, to adjust, to flow naturally with what's happening. That adaptability builds a sense of connection because it shows attentiveness without losing authority. Confidence then is not rigid, it is fluid, responsive, alive. Ultimately, confidence is what creates the difference between simply performing and truly captivating. It is the reason some experiences are forgotten while others are remembered vividly. It is the invisible quality that makes everything more intense, more passionate, and more powerful. Without saying a single word, confidence communicates everything that needs to be said. I'm here, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to make this unforgettable. That is why confidence is not just important, it is the secret ingredient that rocks the world. Slow build, powerful impact. This is where the magic truly happens. Pleasure is not meant to be rushed because the body and mind crave anticipation as much as they crave release. To dive in too quickly is to miss the beauty of the build-up, the delicious suspense that makes every touch feel amplified. It is in those slow moments, those teasing pauses, that the fire grows stronger and the eventual intensity becomes almost overwhelming. When the pace is measured and deliberate, desire turns into something much deeper, something unforgettable. The power of a slow build lies in creating contrast. When everything is given too soon, the mind adjusts and the body adapts. But when it is withheld, when the pace is gradual, every sensation becomes magnified. A single touch can send shivers, a lingering pause can make the heart race, a slow tease can make the body ache with craving. It is not just about what is happening in the moment, but about what the mind imagines is about to come next. That anticipation is a force stronger than any sudden burst of pleasure. Pacing is an art, and those who master it know that desire grows in waves. The slow beginning is not a weakness. It is the foundation, building tension little by little, adding layers of intensity with each step keeps the moment alive far longer than rushing ever could. Imagine drawing someone to the edge again and again, only to pull back slightly, letting the fire cool just enough before fanning the flames once more. That cycle creates a rhythm that makes the final release not just powerful, but explosive. There is also a psychological layer to a slow build. It shows control, patience, and intentionality. It says, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I will decide when the peak comes. That kind of presence is intoxicating because it allows the other person to surrender completely, to give in to the rhythm being set. The balance between restraint and indulgence becomes the dance, and that dance is what makes the experience unforgettable. Another aspect of the slow build is how it awakens the senses. The body becomes hyper-aware of every detail, the warmth of breath, the brush of skin, the subtle changes in rhythm. What might normally go unnoticed suddenly feels extraordinary because the slow pace forces attention to focus on the present moment. It turns ordinary sensations into something extraordinary, heightening awareness and deepening connection. The powerful impact of this approach is undeniable. Instead of ending too quickly, the experience stretches, expands, and grows into something layered and complex. Each moment builds upon the last, creating a crescendo that feels earned rather than given too soon. It is this sense of anticipation fulfilled that makes the memory linger long after the moment has passed. To move slowly is not to hold back. It is to understand the power of timing. To tease, to build, to withhold just long enough is to take control of desire itself. And when the moment finally reaches its peak, it is not just satisfying, it is world-shaking, unforgettable, and utterly consuming. That is the gift of the slow build, the reason why patience always leads to the most powerful impact. Mindful attention to reactions is the compass that guides the entire experience. Every breath, every subtle sound, every slight movement speaks a language that is louder than words. When there is awareness of those signals, the moment transforms into something far deeper than technique. It becomes a conversation without speech, a rhythm of giving and receiving that flows naturally. To rock the world is not to force an idea of what should happen, but to tune in to what is happening and respond in real time. The truth is, no two moments are ever the same. What excites once may not excite the next time, and what feels overwhelming at one point may feel perfect at another. This is why attentiveness is so powerful. It creates adaptability. Rather than following a rigid pattern, mindful attention allows for fluidity, shifting and adjusting with every cue. It is not about guessing or assuming, but about listening to the body's honest, instinctive reactions and letting those guide the pace, the rhythm and the intensity. Every reaction offers a clue. A sharp intake of breath may signal that the intensity is just right. A deeper, slower exhale might mean the body is surrendering into the sensation. A sudden stillness can show that the moment has reached a peak of sensitivity, and sometimes pulling back ever so slightly is what elevates pleasure even higher. These signs are there to be read, and when they are acknowledged and acted upon, the experience feels personal, tailored, and unforgettable. There is also an emotional dimension to this attentiveness. When someone feels truly seen and understood, the connection deepens beyond the physical. The act no longer feels mechanical. It becomes intimate, safe, and magnetic. Paying attention says, I am here with you, I feel your responses, and I care enough to adjust for your pleasure. That presence is powerful. It builds trust, and trust is what allows pleasure to expand without restraint. Mindful attention is also about balance. Sometimes the body craves intensity, and other times it needs gentleness. By staying present, those shifts can be sensed instantly and the rhythm can change accordingly. This unpredictability keeps desire alive because the experience never falls into monotony. It becomes a dance, one where the lead is shared. The giver directs with confidence, but that the receiver's reactions provide the music to which everything moves. What makes this awareness so captivating is that it elevates the act beyond performance. It is no longer about executing moves or techniques, but about creating an experience that feels alive, evolving moment by moment. The body becomes the map, the reactions become the guide, and the result is a journey that feels unique each time. To pay attention is to honor the moment. It is to listen without ears, to understand without words, to adapt without hesitation. And when that awareness is present, every second feels amplified, every sensation feels intentional, and the memory that is created becomes impossible to forget. Creative variety is what keeps passion alive and stops the moment from slipping into routine. The body craves surprise because when something becomes predictable, the mind adjusts and the excitement fades. Variety breaks that pattern, introducing new rhythms, new intensities, and new sensations that awaken the senses all over again. It is like turning a familiar melody into a symphony. Each note may be known, but when played differently, it feels entirely new and deeply captivating. Repetition can dull even the most passionate encounters. Doing the same thing over and over quickly turns mechanical, and mechanical never leaves a lasting impression. The secret lies in weaving variety throughout the experience, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes gentle, sometimes bold. This unpredictability keeps the body guessing, keeps the mind engaged, and keeps desire burning with intensity. The shifts in rhythm act like waves, rising and falling, each one carrying more power than the last. Variety does not need to be complicated. It can be as simple as changing the angle, switching pressure, pausing for a tease before diving back in, or blending one technique with another. Even small changes, when placed at the right moment, feel dramatic because the body notices every detail. That sudden contrast, the shift from soft to intense, from shallow to deep, from steady to unpredictable, is what transforms ordinary pleasure into an experience that feels like a roller coaster of sensation. There is also an element of creativity in how variety is expressed. Confidence gives the courage to experiment, and attentiveness ensures those experiments enhance rather than overwhelm. By mixing techniques, by alternating speed and pressure, by surprising with a sudden change, the experience becomes a dance full of unexpected turns. Each shift communicates a new kind of intensity, and together, they weave a story of passion that feels both thrilling and unforgettable. The beauty of creative variety is that it engages both the body and the mind. Physically, it prevents numbness and heightens sensitivity because the body never fully adjusts to one pattern. Mentally, it creates suspense because the next move is never entirely predictable. That suspense translates into excitement, and excitement is what makes the memory linger. When the body is constantly surprised, every nerve feels alive, and every second feels charged with energy. But variety is not about chaos. It is about balance. Too much change without rhythm can feel scattered, while too little feels dull. The art lies in blending consistency with surprise, creating a steady flow, but inserting twists at just the right moment. This balance keeps the connection smooth while still igniting sparks of thrill. The result is an experience that feels dynamic, layered, and endlessly captivating. Creative variety ensures that passion never fades into monotony. It is the difference between going through the motions and creating a moment that feels new every time. When rhythm, pressure, and technique are mixed with intention, the body responds with deeper intensity, the mind stays hooked, and the experience becomes unforgettable. That is the power of variety. It keeps the fire alive and ensures that the world truly gets rocked. Energy and presence are what elevate an intimate act from something physical into something magnetic, unforgettable and soul-stirring. Technique alone may please for a moment, but when energy and presence are woven in, every touch feels alive, every movement feels intentional, and the entire atmosphere becomes charged with passion. Present means being fully there, mind, body, and spirit focused only on the moment. Energy is the invisible force that flows through that presence, amplifying desire and transforming the experience into something far beyond the ordinary. When there is true presence, distractions disappear. The mind is not wandering, the body is not rushing, And the focus is not split between different thoughts. Instead, all attention is locked into the connection, into the rhythm of giving and receiving. That undivided focus creates an aura that can be felt without words, an energy that says, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to give. And that kind of dedication makes the act not only physical, but deeply emotional. Energy adds an invisible layer of intensity. It is in the way passion is channeled, in how movements are infused with desire, in how breathing, touch, and rhythm carry an unspoken urgency. Without energy, actions can feel flat, robotic, or disconnected. With energy, even the simplest motion feels electrifying because it carries intention behind it. It is the difference between repeating a move and pouring desire into it. That energy cannot be faked. It must be felt, and when it is, it radiates naturally. Presence also allows for synchronicity. By being fully tuned in, every reaction is noticed, every shift in rhythm is responded to, and the entire experience flows like a conversation without words. There is no need to guess, because attentiveness combined with energy creates perfect timing. The act becomes fluid, seamless, alive, as if both bodies are moving to a rhythm that exists beyond them. This alignment deepens connection, making the pleasure not just intense, but profoundly intimate. Another powerful aspect of energy and presence is how they stretch time. When the mind is anchored in the now, moments feel longer, sensations feel sharper, and everything becomes heightened. A single second of eye contact, a single pause in rhythm, a single shift in breathing feels magnified. That is why presence is essential. It slows down the rush, elongates the build, and allows every detail to be savored. The body remembers not just the act, but the energy that flowed through it. Energy also influences how control is expressed. It can be slow and smoldering, steady and grounding, or wild and consuming. The energy chosen sets the tone, and presence ensures it is sustained. Together, they create a mood that imprints itself deeply into memory. Without them, even the most advanced techniques will fade. With them, even simplicity becomes unforgettable. Energy and presence turn intimacy into art. They transform mechanics into magic, making every movement feel like it carries meaning. They are the unseen forces that ignite passion, sustain connection, and ensure that the memory created is one that will never be forgotten. That is why they are not optional. They are the essence of what makes the world truly rocked. Connection beyond the act is what makes an experience linger long after the moment is over. Physical pleasure may fade, but the sense of intimacy, trust, and closeness built in that space can stay alive for days, weeks, or even forever. This is the difference between something that is enjoyable in the moment and something that becomes unforgettable. When connection is present, the act is not just about release or satisfaction. It is about bonding, about creating a shared memory that carries emotional weight. True connection goes deeper than technique. It is found in the subtle details, the way eyes meet, the way breathing syncs, the way one responds to the other without hesitation. These small moments weave a sense of unity, as though the two are not separate bodies but part of the same rhythm. When intimacy feels this profound, the act itself becomes a vehicle for something greater, the experience of being truly seen, desired, and cherished. The beauty of connection is that it creates safety, and safety allows passion to unfold without barriers. When someone feels comfortable enough to let go of walls, they surrender fully to the moment, giving themselves to the experience without fear or hesitation. This surrender deepens pleasure because it is no longer just about what the body feels. It is about the heart and mind opening as well. In that openness, everything becomes more intense, more meaningful, and more powerful. Connection beyond the act also transforms how the memory is stored. Instead of being remembered as a physical encounter, it is remembered as an emotional experience. The mind replays not just what happened, but how it felt, the closeness, the care, the passion. This is what leaves someone smiling days later, what keeps them coming back for more, what makes them crave the presence of that energy again and again. It is not just about pleasure, it is about being bonded on a level that words cannot fully capture. There is also an element of reverence in true connection. It is not just about taking or giving mechanically, but about honoring the moment, appreciating the closeness, and treating it as something sacred in its own way. This attitude elevates the act beyond indulgence. It becomes an offering of passion and care, a way of saying without words, you matter. This matters, we matter. That sense of meaning is what transforms ordinary into extraordinary. Even when the physical act ends, the connection continues. The afterglow, the subtle touches, the lingering closeness, the way eyes soften or smiles appear. These are all extensions of the bond that has just been deepened. They prove that intimacy is not confined to the act itself, but flows into every part of the relationship. And it is this continuation that makes the memory endure, turning a fleeting moment into something lasting. Connection beyond the act is the soul of intimacy. It is what makes passion profound, what turns physical closeness into emotional bonding, and what ensures that the memory remains etched in the mind long after the moment fades. Without it, the act is just a release. With it, the act becomes a story, a memory, and a bond that cannot be forgotten. In the end, what truly rocks the world is not just the act itself, but the way it is carried out, with confidence, patience, attentiveness, creativity, presence, and a connection that lingers long after the moment is over. Each element feeds into the other, weaving a tapestry of passion that feels alive and unforgettable. It is never about rushing or simply performing. It is about embodying the energy, listening to every reaction, and creating a rhythm that feels both thrilling and intimate. When the body is surprised, the mind is engaged, and the heart feels connected, the experience transforms into something far greater than physical pleasure. It becomes a memory, a bond, an imprint that stays long after the touch has ended. And that is the secret to not just pleasing in the moment, but to truly rocking the world in a way that will never be forgotten.